Welcome along to another fresh transfer week for Manchester United. We've got all of your updates heading into what is expected to be an eventful and busy week for Manchester United with ins and outs. Big updates on Jadon Sancho to start the day today. An update on Mbeumo, Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Antony, and a new midfield target for Manchester United. Realistic look on what might happen here for Manchester United this week on the show this morning. I'm going to get all of your comments in, of course, in the live section. If you're playing catch up and watching later, drop your comments in below on all the topics and everything we get into today here on Forever United TV. Be bold and be out there. That's what I'm asking you to do. Get into the comments and let me know what you feel right now. There has been a lot of negative vibes, I must admit, over the last couple of weeks in particular with United. Yesterday went into a bit of overdrive because United's supposed targets in likes of Gyökeres has gone now to Arsenal, one of our rivals. United stuck still with Mbeumo. It's not all doom and gloom. We'll mix it up with all of the stories today. There is positives for United going forward. And we're going to start with one of them now, which is, of course, Jadon Sancho. Now, last night, stories were bubbling up late on about Jadon Sancho coming very close to an agreement. We've been running that for the last couple of days anyway. You remember me saying that the deal between Sancho and Juventus to being the stumbling block in this whole saga, and the wages that Jadon Sancho wants, that being around about €1 million euros apart now in terms of what Sancho wanted and what Juventus are doing to get up to that. We are now very, very close, and a lot of well-known, renowned journalists over in Italy are reporting that Jadon Sancho now to Juventus is a matter of time. Breakthrough, in fact, in talks, and we'll go through all of the stories that I've circulated this morning. One in particular that we're just reading now. Juventus are very optimistic, signing Jadon Sancho with only final details left to complete the deal. 25 million euros to Manchester United and 6 million euros salary plus bonuses for the player. Now, the bonuses are the key in this deal happening in terms of Jadon Sancho's wages, and they were the part of the deal that was being negotiated to make it up to what Jadon Sancho wanted. He wanted approximately 8.5 million euro salary over in Italy at Juventus. Now, they came in. It started at about 5 million. That was short. It's now been bumped up to approximately 6 million with add-ons, which will take Jadon Sancho's wages to what he wants. That there was the breakthrough. That was the part of this deal that these reports are saying is why Manchester United now are in negotiations and the deal and the price is set. The talks of United having an agreement with with Juventus for Sancho have only come about because the personal terms have been agreed. United have let Juventus communicate with Jadon and his representatives to get this deal over the line. They've let them have the time to speak and obviously get the deal that they can put together. And now I think we're going to see this week Jadon Sancho, Manchester United, Juventus all come together and we get this deal done and over the line. This honestly needs to happen for Manchester United now. The pressure that is mounting and the fan base, or the uneasiness within the fan base, the uneasiness around the media, in fact, around Manchester United right now, which is driving this negative vibe onto the football club. It has started well this window and has just petered out to the point of where we're at now. There needs to be some kind of deal, whether it be an in or an out, happen this week. Otherwise, you're going to start getting into the realms of panic mode for a lot of Manchester United fans. And we are going to see what Ineos and this new recruitment team and management team are really made of. The Jadon Sancho situation is one for Manchester United, I think, to tick off in the really positive section going forward, because this, I think, has been one deal that this club and this fan base have been waiting for years now. It's one problem that is finally gone from Manchester United. Now, it's not finalised and it's not completely done. But what's been said, and when someone like Nicola Shearer comes out as well and says that this deal is very close, we've had Damasio all over this constantly anyway, and we know that Fabrizio Romano has been saying it's all down to Jadon Sancho's salary and Juventus negotiating with him. Let's see if these reports are right from Italy, but there are so many of them now coming out from last night and still again this morning that this deal is now close. It's crucial, and final sitting sort of meetings that are going to finalise this deal are happening either today or tomorrow is what's being reported. So that looks extremely positive for Manchester United. And finally, we can stop talking. I cannot wait to stop talking about Jadon Sancho. We need to move past this, man, and look at something a little bit more positive. And I said the other day on the videos, we have, if these deals all come off, what's happening in the background, Manchester United have actually managed to recoup approximately, when you look at it, if you say, for instance, Manchester United have got the money from the tour that we did, the Asia tour, 10 million. And then you've got the Alvaro Fernandez, which is expected to be around about 6 million that we get from that 7 million. Approximately up to 8 million for Antony when he signs for Newcastle United. Right there, you're looking at what's there, 24 million pretty much in them 3 deals there. Then you add Jadon Sancho on top of that, which is approximately going to give United 21 million quid when you break down the currency exchange from euros, from 25 million euros. That all of a sudden then brings Manchester United in at about 45 million raised so far, which is desperately needed at this football club. And I said it last night, and not many people want to hear it. When we say, and when the football finance experts come out and say Manchester United's PSR position is very good this summer, yes, it's very good this summer, but it's only for what Manchester United can overspend with. It's not money we've got. We haven't got this money. It just means that United can go overdrawn by a certain amount. So we can choose to spend that money, or we choose to try and recoup a lot of it back and bring some more money in to try and help Manchester United finance and balance these books. Because let's not forget, Manchester United in a financial year or a PSR cycle right now is where we're at. Year 1, with the back of Europa League and all the gate receipts from last season, that's great. But think about next summer's balance sheets when Manchester United have had no European football. We still have to be very careful. We've got that money to spend if we want to go overdrawn and balance and gamble everything on this one season, which I don't think United are in the mood to do, or we bring players, or we bring money in by selling players. United are stuck, and we know we're financially stuck. And next summer, I feel if the squad ratio rule does creep in for United, then it helps us a lot. And that has to come in, otherwise we are really hampered. There's no reason why it won't come in and why it's not going to come in, but it all depends on what happens with all of these rulings and these sagas going on with Manchester City and the Premier League. Whenever that gets announced and what happens from that, I think will determine a lot going into next summer's transfer window. But United are not willing to gamble it with team, and I'm only taking that from what we've seen so far. Because moving on, and I'm going to get your comments in a moment on this, Jadon Sancho is massively important for Manchester United because it helps us get Bryan Mbeumo over the line, maybe. Or maybe it doesn't. Because what I'm hearing on Bryan Mbeumo right now is that Manchester United have made their offer. It's going to be the last offer, and that's it. I think we're at take it or leave it stages. When I said last night, when people who were very confident this deal was done and something would happen this week come back and message me and say something has changed behind the scenes with this deal for Bryan Mbeumo, it's Manchester United are not willing to spend any more money on it. So when I say that Jadon Sancho's money is going to help, that would have probably been in a sense of the old ways at Manchester United, where we probably would have just buckled and paid what Brentford wanted. United are not going to pay what Brentford want, is why we're where we are with this deal 5 weeks on for Bryan Mbeumo. If we was going to pay it, United would have already buckled. There's no reason that Manchester United would have let it drag out this long if they knew that the deal would have been done if Brentford wanted a certain amount of money. United are not accepting what Brentford want, and there is a very, very, very good case that Manchester United to walk away from the Bryan Mbeumo deal, which of course would not be what any Manchester United fan wants right now. But they're saying to me that Bryan Mbeumo actually now has to put pressure on Brentford to make this move happen. So United are now relying on the player, which I don't like at all. I don't think that's good for anybody, to be honest. It just shows to me that United are out, basically, in terms of what they're willing to do. If this is true, that is. But we have heard stories from the Brentford side that Bryan Mbeumo has told Brentford he's not coming back to training. So today really is a massive day for Manchester United and Brentford. If Bryan Mbeumo turns up for training today, as expected, then we're looking at a situation here where United might not be getting Bryan Mbeumo. I don't want to say that, and I'm not scaremongering here at all or anything like that. I'm just being honest with the situation and where I think it's actually at the moment. So if Bryan Mbeumo really wants this move, he's going to have to really start pushing on to Brentford. And obviously, we've seen the director of football, and this looks like a tactic now from what was happening the other week. We wondered why this interview had happened. Why all of a sudden would Brentford be doing an interview with Sky with their director of football? It's something that's never happened before. And all of a sudden, Manchester United are in a transfer with Brentford, and you've got the director of football from Brentford on Sky doing an interview. Why is that happening? I actually feel like they've come out already here, and this is a plan and a ploy from and a tactic from Brentford to say, look, we have had constant communication with Bryan Mbeumo and his representatives. We know the situation. If the deal isn't right, he's going to be staying at Brentford. Now, United are obviously unable to counter that because Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo is a standout guy. That's the best way I can describe it at the moment. All we're basically best saying is that he doesn't want to really cause a scene. He doesn't want to upset Brentford. He wants this transaction to go through as clean as possible. But like I just said, it's Manchester United. Nothing is ever clean with Manchester United. Nothing is ever straightforward. And we've known and learnt this over summers gone by. Brentford are standing by what they want. Manchester United are not meeting it. It's as simple as that. And that's where we're at. Now they want Bryan Mbeumo to maybe push onto this and make something happen. Maybe ruffle a few feathers to get Brentford moving in the direction that Manchester United want. They haven't got a player that's going to come back to training. They need to sell this player to then move forward with their transfer plans this summer. I.e. maybe Brentford then buckle and just accept what Manchester United have offered. You've got the old Dimitar Berbatov scenario here with Manchester United. It's like the player wants to come to United, but the club don't want to sell to Manchester United. That, I think, is where Manchester United's approach for Bryan Mbeumo is at right now. And them words alone scared me. The fact that Manchester United now need Bryan Mbeumo to start pushing from his side, that alone tells me that Manchester United really are stuck now and they cannot spend any more. And more importantly, in this saga, is they won't spend any more. So just to round up the Mbeumo and the Sancho situation where we're at right now, Sancho being sold doesn't necessarily mean that Manchester United have got that extra bit of money to then put into the Brentford and Bryan Mbeumo situation. It's if they're willing to do it. I don't think they are going off the noises. And this is why this saga is dragged out as long as it has now. Going into week 6 of Bryan Mbeumo saying, I want to go to Manchester United and nowhere else, and this deal isn't done, tells me United are not just going to allow Brentford to win this battle. And we could lose Bryan Mbeumo because of it. Some people would say that needs to happen. A lot of people would say we're desperately in need of backing Ruben Amorim right now and giving him the players he needs. What is the relationship going to be like between Ruben Amorim and the recruitment team at Manchester United and everyone above him if they don't get Bryan Mbeumo and he's going into pre-season with less of a squad than what he finished the season with? Because that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the potential of, 5 players not coming back to training. Obviously, we're losing a few of the academy players that have been released as well. And Manchester United have brought in 1 player. You could say 2 if you're going to add Diego Leon to that, but that deal was already done. Manchester United have brought in a few younger players as well, obviously, like we know, but they're not going to make any difference to Manchester United's first team at the moment. So, really, today is a massive day. The players coming back, what's happening with Bryan Mbeumo. Jadon Sancho is apparently very, very close to being done today, and it's going to be a situation that really, I think, develops now quickly this week on Bryan Mbeumo and Jadon Sancho. Watch this space, basically, is what we're saying here as well. Let's get into the comments section and let's see what you're all saying in just a moment. Just quickly, Fabrizio Romano has just updated us on the Dominic Calvert-Lewin situation, just to settle a few nerves down between the Manchester United fans on that one happening. Again, I was one that was reading the riot act and sounding the alarm yesterday when we heard about Dominic Calvert-Lewin potentially being a Man United player. My God. Romano has said Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been offered to a number of clubs, including Manchester United. There are no updates about it at the moment. So, no, it is just a player that has been offered to Manchester United. Like we said yesterday, the media jumping onto Manchester United's hour of need and saying that we are desperate and we could be taking Calvert-Lewin is going to get mega reaction. I reacted to it. It's going to wind you up as a fan, and the media know this. So they have driven that story yesterday down our throats and over the last couple of days, because there is nothing else coming from United. Like I said last night, it's been 4 days since any significant update. This is day 5 of Bryan Mbeumo. Nothing at all. And that is the worrying thing. So what happens? United aren't getting anywhere else with anyone else. Let's throw Dominic Calvert-Lewin into the mix and make a story out of it. And that's where it's at. Honestly, if I stand by it. If United end up signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I give up in terms of this whole structure and everything. It's going to take a lot of convincing for me. That there is just the end game for me. This would be an absolute nightmare for Manchester United if we ended up signing Dominic Calvert-Lewin this summer ahead of other targets. Don't jump the gun, United, is what we were saying. But I actually don't think United are in for him. That's my personal opinion. I don't think we'd go anywhere near him, to be honest. I think it would be crazy for Manchester United to actually think that this guy would actually give this club anything. It honestly blows my mind that the story's there. But again, like I said, it's the media driving this, and it's them that are trying to make something out of nothing on this for me. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I am right. I pray that I'm right on that one. But that was the quick update from Mbeumo on that. Manny with a super chat to kick us off says, the bottom line is anything is better than playing 100% of that overpaid Melt Sancho's salary. Just like another million signs Mbeumo. Come on, United, stop playing games. Is it a million that gets the deal done for Mbeumo? We don't know at the moment because, like I just said, we've not heard anything. We don't even know the amount of Manchester United's next bid. Look, the rumour is, and the story is, and what's been said last for me that was significant was United are willing to pay up to 65 million with the add-ons for Bryan Mbeumo. And we haven't had anything back yet from Brentford. There is nothing significant from Brentford's side to say that this deal is off or this deal is going to be accepted. But it does look like, if you read the room, they are not willing to accept the 65 million how United have put it across. That is it, and that's all we've got when it comes to Bryan Mbeumo at the moment. There is nothing more, there is nothing less. And unfortunately for United fans, the pain goes on and the wait goes on. Because while everybody else is improving, we're stuck with what we had, apart from Matheus Cunha, who is a mega signing, by the way, and that is good. Why would a player like Manchester United, who has a lot of talent, waste it for a long... I don't understand. I don't understand it, but at least he's not our club's problem now. Right, I'm guessing with a few typos there, Ben, you meant Jadon Sancho on that one. If after 5 weeks we walk away or rely on him to push the transfer, we don't look strong, and the fan base will look at it as a week with no plan. They will. They will look at it as week with no plan. And some people will look at it as Manchester United actually doing what they should have been doing years ago. In moving off, not paying what other clubs want, not ripping Manchester United off. The problem with the fan base is, and the problem that I've got with Manchester United walking away from Bryan Mbeumo now, is that it doesn't look like there is anybody to pivot to. Like Arsenal yesterday, they agreed personal terms with Sesko. They agreed personal terms with Victor Gyökeres. They had both players waiting. They had a choice to make, and RB Leipzig didn't accept Arsenal's bid for Benjamin Sesko. So straight away Arsenal went, fair enough, see you later, signed Gyökeres. There's someone to pivot to. There's another target. It's like Manchester City decided not to go for Florian Wirtz. They made the decision very early with knowing where the deal was going. And that's what bigger clubs do. It's like I seen in that article from Emma Winter, just to touch on Rashford quickly before we move on to him properly in a bit, in that a club like Manchester City, Liverpool would have sold Marcus Rashford 2 years ago. But Manchester United's circus have just allowed the nightmare to continue and allowed it to fester to the point of where it is now, where it is an inevitable divorce between United and Marcus Rashford. The player that came through the ranks and loved and supported Manchester United growing up as a kid has got to this stage because of how this football club has been run. I don't like Marcus Rashford's antics. I don't like him as a man. I don't like him as a player. You're all very aware of that. But where I will defend him is the way that this club has allowed him to develop into this character, because I think the club have got a lot to do with what's happened to Marcus Rashford. and they cannot be without blame on this whole saga on anything. It all comes down to how this football club has been run for the last 20 years, 10 years in particular, and this is what we have developed ourselves. It's our own virus that Manchester United has created at this football club. And right now, it's one of them meetings, it's like in one of them disaster films, isn't it? Where all the nations come together and decide what they're going to do. It's like that's the stage that Man United are at right now. It's do this or this club just drifts off into the abyss. That's where it is with United right now. And that's like what I was saying there, basically at the top of the show, about Jadon Sancho's money coming in. We are desperately trying to cling on to everything we possibly can at the moment. And that, I think, is clear. And if United don't use any of the Sancho money when we sell him, hopefully we do, to bring Mbeumo in, then this is United making a serious decision and saying, that's it. This is the big change that this club needs. We're not going to get the top target anymore. We're deciding to walk away. It's not what anybody wants. And I don't actually think that the price is that bad for Bryan Mbeumo, though. And that's where I'm stuck in this. Like, I understand what United's approach is here, but that's probably market value for Bryan Mbeumo and what he provided last season. You would go out and spend 60 to 70 million on a striker who scored 20 Premier League goals. Any club would. So why United not just spending that bit more on Mbeumo? And I'm stuck between the stance the club should have had 10 years ago and needing to get this player in because I don't think he's a bad player. This club spent 75 million on Rasmus Højlund, and we're not willing to spend 65 million on Bryan Mbeumo. There is a difference from Murto and the Glazers singly owning Manchester United and a proper football structure being in at the football club. It's 2 years too late, because if we were in right now bidding for Rasmus Højlund 2 years ago with this structure in place, the bid would have been at about 30 million quid and there would have been no drama. We would have walked away and gone for somebody else. That's the problem. It's all happened too late and we are too far behind, and it has just kicked up an absolute, pardon my French for early on a Monday morning, shitstorm. And United are struggling to deal with it. I think at the moment we've got a lot of power players in position and there's a lot of decision making going on. And like I said, Ruben is just walking right into this today. What's happening? Tell me where we're at. We need to sort this out and we need to move forward with players. Couple of super chats in quickly. We'll get some more comments before we move on with more updates. We're going on Marcus Rashford next, everybody. We have a big update on that one. I didn't want sagas in the window, and now we have one with Mbeumo. We learnt nothing as a club, says Ray. Another super chat from Ant. Patient, still 7 weeks left in the window. For God's sake, judge the window when it's finished. And with that, I've said that all along. The concerning signs are there, though, in terms of where Manchester United are at. And I think it's, for me, just personally for me as well, it's because I really like Bryan Mbeumo. I'll be gutted if he doesn't come. Look, the club are making a stance. I just said it then, it's 2 years too late. This is what Manchester United should have been acting like in that window when we were signing Andre Onana, Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund. If we had this in now 2 years ago, we might have actually salvaged something. And we might be okay. But too much has happened. Too much has happened. That window absolutely poleaxed Manchester United. The one before it didn't help us either. It didn't. But that one with Rasmus Højlund, Mount and Onana, wow, we can't even touch these players. And we want them all out, basically, because they're not going to feature for this club. And that was 2 years ago. And now look where we're at. That's the problem we've got. Player FC has to be gone soon, says Adele. On Player FC, a big part of that is obviously Marcus Rashford, and we could be seeing the back end of Marcus Rashford, but not anytime soon. And I know you don't want to hear this, people, but the update on Marcus Rashford, and reading what I've read and where we're at right now, and picking up on signs and what we have seen before when it comes to what journalists say, I don't think Rashford's going anywhere quickly. And I think we're looking towards the back end of July, maybe, for Marcus Rashford. Or when United go out on tour and return in August, I think we're going to start seeing something with Rashford then. Maybe the last week of July, early August. Because the stories that I'm hearing today, and I pick up on how journalists work, and Fabrizio Romano in particular, he has retweeted something that he tweeted out, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe, I might be wrong in when he first tweeted it out, but he retweeted... No, actually, it would have been about a week ago then. I know it might have been after Nico Williams. Anyway, move on, Adam. Forget it. He's retweeted one of his tweets which says Barcelona will revisit the transfer of Luis Diaz. And you're like, oh, God, that means that they're going for Diaz and not for Rashford. And Rashford still wants Barcelona. He won't look anywhere else. And that's been said. And the reports this morning are that Marcus Rashford is going to wait for Barcelona before he moves on any other deal. So we have to wait if Barcelona want to move for somebody else. Fabrizio Romano retweeting the Luis Diaz link, for me, is a big concern. Because I don't know if you've seen it, and I don't know if you've been watching. Obviously, it was a sad, sad weekend with the funeral of Diogo Jota and all of that. A horrible, horrible scenario of what happened last week. Obviously, it sent me over. Like I struggled to watch a lot of it, to be honest. It was very upsetting, and you'd expect everyone to be together at that moment, wouldn't you? But Luis Diaz was in Colombia at an influencer party instead of being at the funeral of Diogo Jota. And I'm obviously reading between lines here, and I hope that's not true. I've just seen that story posted. I'm not going to say that that's a definite, but I'm pretty certain Diaz was not there. Now, there were a couple of other Liverpool players that weren't there for other reasons. I don't think Alex Becker was there either. But Luis Diaz not being there, and if it was true that he was in Colombia, yes, obviously that's his hometown. He's got every right to be there, but if you were Liverpool right now and you see that player not at that funeral and he'd rather be out doing something else like that, all of a sudden does that make that deal then a bit easier for you to make happen if Barcelona want that player? With everything that Liverpool stand for and things like that. Look, I'm reading way between the lines here, and it could be something of nothing completely, but just adding that to the fact that Romano's retweeted his post on Barcelona going back in for Luis Diaz makes me think that Rashford's just a second thought again. And that has also been reported this weekend also, that Rashford is like a second or third option for Barcelona at this stage. So again, it worries me that it's not that Manchester United won't get Rashford out of the door. It's another one that we're going to have to wait for. And we're already well into this window, but I don't see Marcus Rashford going anywhere quickly. And he will want that Barcelona move. He wants to go to Barca, and he wants that to happen before anything else. That's the report that's going around at the moment. And I just don't see it potentially moving as quick as Man United want. Say, for instance, we wanted to make money on Marcus Rashford. We're not going to. We're going to have to wait it out. I personally still believe that it's only going to be a loan for Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, and that's what will end up happening. I would love Bayern Munich to come in and buy him because they're in a better position than Barcelona financially. I just don't see it. And just reading between what's been said and Marcus Rashford's reports on things, what Henry Winter said, and how he's come out saying that he hasn't asked to leave Manchester United. It was just because it was obvious he had to leave Manchester United. In defence of Marcus Rashford, again, Henry Winter. I know that Marcus Rashford inside right now is probably hurting, and he's not going to do anything to help Manchester United out at this moment. So, again, not what we want to hear, but I just feel like it's going to be another bit of a drawn-out saga with Marcus Rashford as well this summer, which is why we started with Jadon Sancho at the top of the show being so important, at least to get that deal over the line. It helps Manchester United maybe look at potential deals elsewhere. Let's get some more comments in on everything that's going on, everybody. Again, get your comments in on the comment section live if you are watching now. And later on, if you're playing catch-up, please do drop your comments in below. Glenn says with a super chat, laugh out loud, Adam, 64 on Rasmus. It was 72 with add-ons, not 75. I get that you are angry though. Apparently it wasn't, mate. Apparently it was 75. There's a few different stories, but honestly, Glenn, if we're arguing about 64 for Rasmus Højlund, is still obviously more expensive than what Bryan Mbeumo's going to be. And the point that I was making is there and still valid. Wherever it is, we are at least 30-40 million over what we should have paid for Rasmus Højlund. So get it, mates. See what you're saying. But either way, it's still absurd, isn't it? Will Bryan Mbeumo still become a United player? That's the poll running right now. Get on to that as well, everybody. A simple yes or no. 72% of you are still confident United will get this deal done. I like that thinking, everybody. Keep that going. Let's try and keep the positive vibe moving with everything that's happening with Manchester United as much as we can. this morning anyway. Diaz thing is fake. Was an old video. That's good to know then, Roberts. I seen it and I thought, you know what, adding that to it, hopefully that isn't right. I didn't see him at the funeral. Honestly, I'm not looking into it too deep. The worrying thing with it was the Fabrizio Romano retweet, which he always does when something is about to happen again. That was the one that really clicked for me. I was like, no. The Diaz partying, I didn't believe it at the time. I was just looking between the lines, like I said. But cheers for that, Robert. If that is true, thanks for clarifying that. But it's the Romano side that's more concerning, knowing it with that one. I don't care about Manchester United anymore because I know it is finished, a relegated club. All right, Fex69 has given up completely. Rashford is a lightweight. He impresses no one. Carl in with the chat as well says he's going to be he's going to a Prem or Italian team on loan. No way is he off to Barca. It's going to drag on all summer. I don't know about where he'll end up, but I do agree with what you're saying there and it dragging on, like I said there. Diaz is a much better player than Rashford, so can't see Barca going for Rashford. Look, it's all been driven by Rashford's side, I think, more than anything, the Barcelona move. I think we've all known about that, but still, we do need a little bit of clarity with Marcus Rashford. I think that one will be a lot bigger than the Jadon Sancho one. Once Rashford is out of this football club, I think it's a big burden and a big weight lifted off the shoulders of this club, and I think that will again be a big sign for the fans going forward that it's the end of an era. It's the end of Player FC at Manchester United. Player power is gone. I think that's what it will say to a lot of people. Done nothing in a month. Cunha was sorted in May. Ultimately, we are a mid-table team that thinks it's a big club. If I see Calvert-Lewin, I'm done. Utter clowns, says Ryan. I think it's a bit extreme, but I don't think you're far off the mark there, Ryan, with a lot of fans agreeing with what you said there, buddy. Adele with another super chat. Thank you, mate. Says, why would Sancho on 250 grand a week or Rashford on 300 grand a week want to leave? They're guaranteed 13 million plus this season. They hold all the power and no club will match those wages for underperforming players. Look, on that one, you would say that is the stance and everybody jumps to that. Thanks for your super chat, mate. But it's a World Cup year. Rashford wants to be part of the World Cup. He's not going to wait around at Manchester United. He knows he has to play. Jadon Sancho, obviously, a lot of people have made the point, tax in a lot of other European countries is less than what it is in England, and they don't have to pay as much. So less wages doesn't necessarily mean less that they're getting. It just means that they don't have to pay as much tax, and overall it might balance out to be the same thing. So that's been brought up as well in many conversations, and it's probably something that these players would look at also. But the fact on Marcus Rashford is he has made it very clear that he wants, and I think his ego will be taking a hit more than anything. He is seen as this big pin-up boy. And don't forget, Marcus Rashford, with his endorsements, is worth a lot of money. Not just what he earns at Manchester United. And if Rashford is sat on his ass doing nothing, he'll start to lose sponsors. He'll start to lose that aura that he's got, which I still don't get, by the way, about that big playoff. His reputation will be absolutely dragged through the mud if he's not playing football. So he has to make a move happen. It makes sense from both sides, particularly Marcus Rashford's at this point because he's 27. He needs to get to a club and be playing regular football. Otherwise, his profile starts to drop off the page. It starts to drop out, and he's not one of them big players anymore, well known across the world. He'll be known as the forgotten man, Marcus Rashford, whose career completely fell off when he should have been in his prime. And that affects him, and his future as well. So let's be clear on this. When you're looking at the common sense factor in everything as well, Rashford does need that move, and he is making it happen. He will move this summer, Marcus Rashford. I've got no fear at all in it. I just don't think it'll be a quick move for United, and hopefully we can raise enough money from the other players that we need to sell so we can get some more players in. Manny with another super chat says, Ryan, we are a mid-table team. It's a 3-year rebuild. I still think Manchester United can take advantage this season of not being in Europe and push. Look, if Nottingham Forest can do it, United can do it. The proof is there that without European football, you can really be a force and you can mount and sustain a proper charge in getting into Europe next season. That's where United need to be concentrating, I feel. Ineos out, they should never have come to the club knowing they wouldn't have the money to make us competitive. Look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyone who's having a go at Ineos right now is simply, it's completely irrelevant. They have invested money into Manchester United 3 times more, actually 300 million more than what the Glazers have in 20 years. It's a pointless argument right now. Anyone shouting for Ineos out right now, it's not going to make one bit of a difference. It's not going to happen. They're not leaving. We have to deal with what we've got. We can moan. We can look at the future. We can assess what they've done. I think, again, it's going to take time to properly assess what they have done. 3 years, I think, is fair to properly judge what's happened at Manchester United with Ineos in charge. I really do. And this is going to be a massive season for them as well. Ant says, we wanted less leaks. We got it. So we can't complain. We don't know what the club are doing behind the scenes. We may have other targets on the QT. Maybe. We are going to talk about that on this show, actually, because there is a potential other target for Manchester United in what we're looking at the moment. But Garnacho next. Let's move on to him, shall we? Still loads to get through here, so let's carry on with everything. Keep your comments flooding in, everybody. Thank you again, everyone who has already. Also, if you haven't liked the video already and you're loving the content, please pop a like on the video. Cheers, everyone. Please hit the subscribe button as well. We're trying to get to that 90,000 mark before we start the season. We're very close. We're less now than 800 away from getting there. So thank you again. Please hit the subscribe button. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on. And going on with Garnacho at the moment, nothing. But it is an update. Laurie Whitwell coming out in The Athletic and saying that Manchester United have actually come out and said, or in speaking to The Athletic and people at the club, there is no price been set on Garnacho's head. So the stories of 70, 60, 50, whatever it is, they are just made up reports from the media, according to what The Athletic are saying here, is how I see it. They haven't said that in words, but the way I'm reading it is, United have actually gone into this transfer window. We are now into July, heading into the second week of July, and we have 0 offers on the table for Garnacho. Now, what does that tell you? It tells you exactly what I've been saying for weeks. Garnacho is not worth what people think he's worth. He isn't that good. He's got great potential and can turn into a very, very good player. World class, he will never be. He will never be world class. He's now hit 20 and he's miles behind other world-class players out there at the same age. He's not going to be the next Ronaldo. He's not going to be the next Messi. Whichever way, he can be a very, very good player. But we know that he hasn't got the capabilities of being that absolute ultimate superstar. And superstar players at the moment are fetching between 70 and 100 million quid. Garnacho is not 70 million. He is worth something. But Garnacho's value, my opinion alone, again, is 40 to 50 million. I think that deal sells Garnacho instantly because someone will invest in the potential. No one's going to invest 70 million, 60 million into potential that is what it is in Garnacho and what he's done so far. He hasn't shown enough. He's shown glimpses of what he can be. And that for a football club in years of PSR and financial fair play situations that are going to develop even more is not worth it. He isn't going anywhere for 60 million. I'm telling you this now. I will gladly sit here and be proved wrong if United gets 60 million. In fact, if Ineos managed to get 60 million for Garnacho, I'll stand up and applaud them. And literally, that will be one of the best deals of the summer if you got 60 million for Garnacho. Look, you can say that I'm being way over the top here. Honestly, you can. I'm not too concerned about it, but I think I'm looking at this real here. I'm looking at it with a sensible head on. He's not worth that money. And the Athletic coming out and saying that Manchester United are now saying there's no price set on Garnacho. That for me tells me that they have been taken aback by the fact that they have got no offers in. What can you expect when there's leaks coming out from Manchester United, probably from Garnacho? I'm only guessing, it might not be him, but I can only assume that he has been told he's been told that he is not welcome at Manchester United. Why would United leak that out? Honestly, I have no idea what United's thinking was. If United were behind leaking out that story from Ruben Amorim telling Garnacho, you better hope that you find another football club. We all remember the reports. If that has come from United, that is financial suicide. And we said it at the time as well. I don't think United would deliberately leak that out. The fact that it come from Ornstein kind of made me think that they did, and I would really question where Manchester United's thinking is if that was true. I just cannot, for the life of me, think United would want to do this. Why would they leak out that information knowing that it's going to devalue a player? It makes no sense whatsoever. And United, I think, right now, are taken aback by the fact that we are, into week 7 of the transfer window, and there hasn't been one single offer for Garnacho. And we're at the part of pre-season now where he's coming back. So, again, I think United have done and made their stance on these players not coming back just to try and push their representatives to start moving things along. Because United, from their side, have had nothing that's acceptable, I'll say that. Maybe there has been some information or some communication of sorts for Garnacho possibly leaving Manchester United, or someone wanting to find out the conditions, but not got anywhere near what Manchester United wants. It's gone quiet from Napoli. He wants to stay in the Premier League. I made a point the other day in another video. Who is going to want Garnacho in the Premier League? You can forget Arsenal, you can forget City, you can forget Liverpool, you can forget Chelsea. They've all bought more players in now. They're not going to buy him. You're looking at maybe Aston Villa, possibly Newcastle, but Newcastle have then gone and bought Alanga. Where's he going to go? He's not playing Champions League football if he goes to a Premier League club. I don't think Villa can afford him, so I would say that that's out of the way, unless United wanted to do a deal with Watkins. I don't know. I'm guessing again. But there's nowhere for him to go. And United, I think, now are open on Garnacho. 40 to 50 million, sell him. Get him out of the club, use that money, because that's a lot of money for Manchester United right now. And it could be significant in this season, which we don't have league and European football together in. This is the one chance United have got. It is a big gamble on what's going to happen this season for United and what we do in the transfer window. But if we make the right signings and go into the season with no distraction of European football, it's our best chance ever of getting back up there and completely restructuring Manchester United with the potential of European money coming in. We need to be at least in Europa League football next season. Otherwise, the next transfer window is going to be even worse for Manchester United. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. Something has to happen. And Garnacho is one of them players this summer that could play a massive part in Manchester United moving forward. And so let's just see how that one moves. But at the moment, United coming out saying there's no price on Garnacho's head. So reality tells us there that they need to rethink what they're going to get for Garnacho. And 40 to 50 million's the mark. Honestly, I think that's where we're at. We'll get more comments on this now. Garnacho and Rashford are mid-table Prem quality and always have been. United and our fan base overhype them. Good players for teams like Villa and Spurs. That's their level. Could go Spurs, you never know. Might be a bet. Good point, Carl. Lee says, didn't Amorim say United being a big club will still attract top players without Champions League? It's laughable now. Well, not really, because Brian Mbeumo and Matthias Cunha have turned down Premier League, Champions League teams, Lee, and want to go to United. It's just that United are struggling to get the deal over the line for Brian Mbeumo. So them two players alone are point proven. You could argue that with Victor Gyökeres, yes, but still, Mbeumo and Cunha kind of kill that argument off for me. Ineos and Jim done us over by giving the Glazers a lifeline. The BS about best in class and hiring and firing hundreds of people. Jim Radcliffe does not care about United. It's the redevelopment. That's it. There's going to be plenty of opinions coming out. Honestly, right now, like I said before, I think it's pointless talking about Sir Jim Radcliffe and Ineos. We are where we are. What's been done is done. We have to try and move on past it. My stance on Garnacho is he doesn't fit in a Ruben Amorim style of play. We would not have sold him for 80 million when he played for Erik ten Hag. There is definitely a great potential attacking player there in the right team. Potential. That's what United cannot gamble on at the moment, unfortunately. Adam Mods, is there any outer way to to back this great channel. I have hit the likes and the sub to this channel. I love to do more to help great shows, no fluff, etc., and not like some shows. Thank you for that, Peter. You're doing a great job as you are, Pete. Thanks for that, mates. Appreciate it, buddy. And again, like we said, thank you everybody and the mods and everyone who has actually helped out a lot in making this the community that it is. We are in debate mode constantly here. Transfer windows are always going to divide opinion on what happens with Manchester United going forward, and that's where we are. We're right in the thick of it now. All I'll say is I'm going to keep on covering everything that happens through this summer, and I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. This is going to be like a tug of war. It's going to be the positive against the negative. It's going to keep on going back and forth and back and forth, and this is going to be one hell of a summer. Whether it be good at the end or bad at the end, strap yourselves in for the roller coaster, everybody. It is, at the moment, in one of them downwards big dipper modes. We're going down at the moment. That's what it feels. We need something just to go, boo, and come back up again the other side. I tell you what, it'd be the craziest white knuckle ride ever if you put Manchester United into a roller coaster in a transfer window. Bigger than any other on the planet. That's what I would say. On to Antony. And there are stories now coming out that Manchester United are actually willing to drop the price for Antony to sell him. This is what I think needed to happen. Be realistic. United's approach with Antony should be the approach with Garnacho. I think that's where you're at. And United are going to have to take the hits. I remember doing a video, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Take the hit or something like that, it was titled. And the reality of what Manchester United are facing, you're not going to get what you want for these Man United players. It's as simple as that. I think we've given it enough time to see if we could do it, and now's the time that you need to start backing your manager. And the only way you back your manager is by having money to bring in better players. And the only way you do that is by accepting lower ball bids for players within reason and getting them out of the door. 30 million for Antony, God's sake, if no one's going to take him at that, I give up. What is wrong with everybody? And in particular, what's wrong with United? Stop messing around and dancing the merry one with bleeding Betis. Go on to something else. Seriously, Antony just needs to be sold for straight cash. I don't understand the Betis approach from Manchester United. I understand they're trying to help Antony out, but it's going to come a point in this window where he just needs to go. If this is true and Manchester United are accepting 30 million for Antony, I think it's necessary. Look, you can only monetize these players and this mess for as much as someone's willing to pay for it. And that's what United have to accept. Accept you have done wrong and you have poorly run this football club. Whether you were in before, it's pointless bitching about it. You just got to deal with the shit that's there in front of you. And you're not going to get what you want for these players. They have proved that they are not valuable. Are as valuable as Manchester United paid for them anyway. And we're going to have to take the hit on that. That's on United. Moving forward, when these players are gone, the players that we're bringing in are probably going to be worth more for Manchester United, and we might be able to be run as a proper football club then. But until then, until you accept the mistakes of the years gone by, we're not going to move forward. We need to sell the players for what I think is reasonable prices. Yes, we're going to take some hits here and there, but getting 30 million for Antony right now basically just about covers him. I think it's about 32, something like that, is ultimate PSR draw level sort of pricing. So we basically break even if we sell him for that price. If it's a couple of mil here and there, look, we're going to get money in for Sancho. We've got the money from Elanga and Alvaro Fernandez to balance things. But getting Sancho off the books, getting Antony off the books, and then moving on to Rashford, these are massive deals for Manchester United. Huge deals for us. So that's what United need to concentrate on for me. Accepting that these players are not worth what you're thinking they are because you spent so much on this player before. You have to accept that you've ballsed it up and deal with it. That's where you're at. Sell with Super Chat. I've been in WhatsApp call with Ed with Edward regarding football tops. Great communication and help when needed. I would highly recommend. By the way, yes, in terms of the jerseys and the football kits that I've been wearing, check it out. The mods will drop a link in the chat. Thanks for that, cellmates. The mods will drop the link in the chats. If you want any kits from any football club at a reasonable price, check them out. I will pin it up as soon as the mods drop it in there into the chat for you. Loads of people have been buying them up. Go check them out, everybody. Thanks for that super chat as well there. Sell on that one just to bring that up. You didn't have to do that, mate, but I really do appreciate it. Gricker and Lionel, welcome to the members club. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. A couple more bits to get through yet. So that was the Antony one. Get your comments in on Antony. Let me know what you think about that, everybody. And would you take 30 million for him just to get him out of the club? Is that where United need to be right now? Sensible, big wage off the books, and Antony gone. I think that is more than worth it. By the way, the poll, which has nearly 3,000 votes now, 71% of you still think Bryan Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player. I'm going with that. I still think it will be that as well. Thanks for that, Stu, as well. Just pin that up there. There is your link to the kits, everybody, in the live chat right now. And it is in the description as well, everyone. You only have to look back on everything that I've been wearing over the last few shows to know exactly how good the kits are. They are. Mint. Who is Koku? Well, he's a midfielder. I think that's how you say it. It's spelt Kokcu. So I'm guessing Koku is how you pronounce it. A Turkish midfielder at Benfica at the moment. Manchester United are targeting him. Playmaking type of number 8 player. I'm going to be honest, I've not watched too much of him. Don't know too much of what his capabilities are. Seen a bit of him in the Champions League last season. Okay, yes. 35 million, young, decent. But looking into the situation again, I look now at everything to do with contracts on these players when United are linked with anybody. I'm happy that United are looking at other options as well. I think that's a good thing. But I do think United need straightforward deals to make them happen quickly. Like someone with a buyout clause like Cunha. I know we got that deal done. And Mbeumo didn't have a buyout clause, and we're seeing exactly what that is and where that's taking Manchester United right now in this transfer window. So, yeah, Koku at Benfica is a target for Manchester United. It's reportedly 35 million, which seems right, but then again, just reported. This kid has a 100 million buyout from Benfica on his contract. One of them stupid ones again that are totally unrealistic. He's on cheap wages as well, so United could probably tempt him in. Just wanted to make a point at the end of the show that United are looking at other targets in this transfer window. Whether or not anything else comes about, just putting everything into perspective on where we're at. Are United going to move away from Bryan Mbeumo and go and buy an 8 or a 9 rather than another 10? Are there another 10 out there that United wants? I honestly feel if we do, and I don't want this to happen, I don't think it's going to happen, we move away from Bryan Mbeumo, we might actually look at a different area. We might actually look at where we're actually needing players in, like midfield and 9 rather than 10, because we're all right for 10. Like, if there was one area that I'd say, and I want Mbeumo in now because we're so far down the line, and it does transform Man United's front line completely. But if it wasn't to happen, worst case scenario, I think United might move across to the striker. I think United might actually think that, you know what, maybe number 8 is important, also important for us as well. I'll leave you with that one there in terms of what you think Manchester United should do if Mbeumo doesn't happen. 71% of you still think that Bryan Mbeumo will be a Manchester United player. I'm going to end that poll right there, around about 3,000 votes on that. Thank you, everybody. Please do drop your comments in on the comment section when the video is finished. There have been loads, thousands with us in the room this morning, well over 3,500 throughout the show, so it's been hard to get through all of the comments. So please do drop them in the comments after the video is finished. It's live, so I can have a good look through them while I'm getting through the morning. I will be back later if anything does break. We're expecting some interesting developments today, so stay tuned. To stay tuned, hit that subscribe button and bell notification button as well to make sure that you are completely updated. When something breaks, I will have you covered, everybody. And until then, have a great morning, everyone. Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed we get some more news. Like the video on the way out. Over 700 likes on the show, everyone. Thank you very much. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you all later on. Have a good and peace.